David Goggins, you're a rookie here, first timer. Congratulations. That was the heat for you. I didn't even notice it.
In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself. And after what you've gone through, if you haven't done that by now, it ain't gonna never happen.
Two forms of pain. Pain that breaks you and the pain that changes you. That's the pain of a change right there. That's the pain of progress. The pain that destroys you isn't this. It's later in life knowing you could have been more, and all that's left is you and the mirror and tears of a possibility left that you allowed to die. Own your life, guys. You get every opportunity. There's no excuse not to be the hardest motherfucking worker in the room.
This quote hit me in my chest. Usain Bolt said, "I trained 4 years to run 9 seconds."
World record's gone!
And people give up when they don't see results in 2 months.
You talk about talent and hard working? Yeah. No, most of the talent people, they're lazy. Most of them. I met a lot of talent people, but they all like, I don't want to say 100, but 99% they're lazy. When you don't have talent, you have to work so hard. When you work so hard and sacrifice your time, dedicate, like sacrifice, you become more disciplined.
Can you read the quote once more?
We don't rise to the standards we have when others are watching. We fall to the standards we have when no one is watching. The only work that really matters is the work that no one sees. It shows you who you really are rather than who you say you are.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
I fly home tomorrow.
Is that what you want to do? You come all this way, have one bad day, and you're ready to back down?
So everything that you do is habit forming. And that includes hitting the snooze button. That includes sitting on the couch. That includes eating donuts. It's all habit forming. You know what else is habit forming? Discipline. Setting the alarm and getting up. Going and working out. Eating steak. That stuff is all habit forming too. I recommend you form some discipline habits.
There's always someone out there who's working harder than you. I'm haunted by that motherfucker. Knowing that that's someone out there is willing to forgo personal desires and comforts. Forgo sleep. Forgo whatever it takes to be better, to be the best. In life, a lot of times, a lot of us have that person out there. There may not be a name or a face to him, but he exists. You make sure in life when they think about that person, you make sure they put a name and face to it. You make sure the name and face is yours.
Then there's the athletes who train to win. They train every day, every session, so that they win on match night. And then there are just those very few players who train to dominate. They train so hard that winning is inevitable on race night.
At the end of the day, you've got to feel some way. So why not feel unbeatable? Why not feel untouchable? Why not feel like the best to ever do it?
It's like I love thinking about the quote. Every guy essentially has 2 lives, right? And the second one starts once you realize you only have one. That's I like that a lot because it's so true, man. You know, you've only got one shot at this, so you may as well at least make it kind of cool.
Success is this, and training and struggling and suffer and sacrifice, and then success is this. But this tastes so much more than this. Yeah. But I'm not sure that people today are 100% aware of what it means.
There's some internal drive that you either have or you don't have. And if you have it, you won't quit. And if you don't have it, you're gonna quit.
You gotta fight. Shit's hard. You're gonna have days where you don't wanna do anything. You're gonna have days where getting out of bed is the hardest motherfucking thing you ever did in your life. You gotta get the up and you gotta get in the fight. That's reality. The minute you lay down is the minute that all those demons and all that anxiety and all that stress and all that fear get you. You have to keep fighting. You have to wake up and do your job. Even if you have to crawl through it, you've got to get up and do it. Because the minute you lay down, that shit got you forever, bro, and you can't get out of it.
You have to want to be better. And it starts off with you have to have pride in yourself. You know way you can do better than Can't Hurt Me. Roger that. We'll see.
Find the gap. Don't complain. Don't murmur. Don't talk negative. That's average people talk normal. Average people talk problem. The greats talk solutions. Average people use their time to whine and complain. Average people say it's their boss' fault, it's their mother's fault, it's their average people. I used to be average. I used to say, when is my daddy coming to get me?
Me. I focus on me. I became bulletproof. I became invincible here in my body. Nothing can stop me. You can throw anything at me. There's nothing that can break my mindset. Nothing. I'm bulletproof.
So a strong mind is not just one that can do calculus. A strong mind is not just one that can write books. A strong mind is one that controls the body and all of its inherent weaknesses and all of its urges to be lazy and sedentary and self-destructive. That's a strong mind.
That right there is my fuel. Is I know that there's really no one out there grinding like me. And if they are, so be it. If I know about you, I'll make sure that I up my game.
Where they reach rock bottom, when the excuses all go away and people can actually confront the fact that this is all because of me, it hurts, but is also unbelievably empowering. Because if these problems are because of me, then I'm capable of fixing these problems.
The hardest things are usually the best. If it's easy, leave it to somebody else.
Waiting to begin never got anyone anywhere.
So many of us come from these small places in our mind that we're not willing to think outside of only what we've seen. Our mind works in such a small compartment. And one thing I was able to do was to dream. Many people, but don't make dreams your master. But I was able to dream outside those four walls of that small town. And until you're able to really put yourself into that dream, but don't make dreams your master, that's where you truly become what you're destined to become.
Do you fear anybody?
No. If you're willing to fight me, we can fight, no problem. Come and try me, anyone.
You are not going to get anywhere in this world. You're not going to get anywhere financially, spiritually, socially, or otherwise until you get to that point where you don't give a damn about what other people think about you.
Everyone does a few reps when the burn starts and they stop. No one goes the extra mile and keeps going. Like no one's in here right now. Why? Because it's Saturday evening, everyone's going to party, no one's in here, just me.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen. Everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well.
I don't have time to be angry. You know how much time it takes to hold an attitude and a grudge? That's time and energy. I don't have that time. The time that it takes you to go, I don't like that person, and keep that in you over a period of time, that's a lot of time that can be devoted to something positive.
The easiest thing I've done was to get out from under the labels and to live the life that I live. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I can do it.
You will find the strength to do what needs to be done. Kill the boy and let the man be born.
You are one decision away from changing your life. And you have to accept that. You're one new meeting, one new relationship, one new contact, one new action, one new decision away from shifting your life from where it is right now to a totally different place. There's something you've been hesitating on. There's a contact you need to make, isn't there? There's a job you need to quit. I don't know what it is, but I know there's a decision that you need to make to take you to the next level, just like I know that's true for me. Because decisions shape our destiny when they're backed up by some massive ass action.
My whole thing is a mentality thing. Like I told you the last time I was on the show, I view myself as the weakest person on the planet Earth. My goal in life was to, in my mind, believe I'm the hardest man alive. That's what it's about. It's about whatever you think you are, you have to make that dream a reality. But that's where the hard part is making that dream reality. That's where the hard work comes. That's where people know, how do you keep grinding every day? You have to make those insecurities, those fears. Like when I was 300 pounds, I didn't have any drive.
But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning. And here's what I will share with you. That in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. What you will realize is that you have greatness within you. What you'll realize is that you're more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine. What you will realize is that you are greater than your circumstances, that you don't have to go through life being a victim.
Battle not with monsters, lest ye become a monster. And if you gaze into the abyss gazes also into you.
Right. But I would say, bring it on. If you gaze into the abyss long enough, you see the light, not the darkness.
Are you sure about that?
I'm betting my life on it.
Life is a crazy roller coaster, especially this life, you know, so we've ups, we've downs, but I find I'm at my best when I must do something and I know I must do it, and I do it, I execute it, and that's what I'm doing right now, and that's what I have done.
Unchosen suffering is going to happen in life. Your parents are going to pass away, loved ones are going to die, your relationships are going to break down, your body is going to fail you, you're going to become ill or sick or destitute. Things are going to happen that you have no control over. And the only way that you can prepare yourself for unchosen suffering is with chosen suffering.
Right.
You can elect to put yourself into a position to become a stronger alloy of whatever the metal is that you're made of. And by purposefully choosing difficult things, you will armor yourself against that situation. It's still going to suck, but think about how much more fragile you would be if you hadn't overcome all of this stuff.
This conversation with this guy the other day, and he was making a lot of good points, it seemed. He was saying that you don't need to get up early in the morning, and that working out early in the morning isn't that big of a deal, and it's better to do it later in the day. And, you know, I said, well, what if something comes up and I miss the workout that day? And he's like, told me that it's not that, it's nothing major, you don't need to worry about it. And he cited some scientific sources and whatnot. The guy was making a lot of good points, and I was almost going to listen to him, but then I realized the guy that I was talking with was myself, and he was a liar. Don't let your weak voice run things. Step up, do what you got to do.
Being attacked is a sign that you are important enough to be a target. You should relish the attention and the chance to prove yourself.
When they took the shit day to train, it's 40 degrees, raining, windy, nasty. You can't let conditions dictate your outcome.
The party I might smile at tonight, the laughter I might be had tonight, is a huge distant second to the pride one feels of accomplishing their goals. And here, even though it's painful, it's joyful. Because I can taste it, I see it clear, I'm closer to it. A year will come with great honor, not great regret.
You're out running on the track, working out, and you start talking to yourself saying, man, my knee is really sore right now. Maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I need to back off, you know. Man, my lungs are burning. Maybe I can just slow down here. I'll do like an extra 2 sets tomorrow. You know, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right? That sort of stuff.
Yes.
Like that stuff's dangerous.
Yes.
And that's when you just got to say, you know what? I'm not negotiating with myself.
Yeah.
The deal was already made. The deal was made. When I set out at the beginning of the summer and said, this is the training plan I'm doing, I signed that contract with myself. I'm doing it. You know, throughout that process, you'll start talking to yourself like, man, I think I need to, maybe if we, nope. No, this is non-negotiable.
I have never understood why some people are lucky enough to be born with the chance that I had to have this path in life, and why across the world there's a woman just like me with the same abilities and the same desires, same work ethic and love for her family, who would most likely make better films and better speeches. Only she sits in a refugee camp, and she has no voice. She worries about what her children will eat, how to keep them safe, and if they'll ever be allowed to return home. I don't know why this is my life, and that's hers. I don't understand that, but I will do as my mother asked, and I will do the best I can with this life to be of use.
Stop analyzing, stop criticizing both yourself and others, and go fail at some shit. Go give someone a good job for sucking at something, because at least they're trying. Maybe we'll even give yourself permission to do the same. We find meaning in trying difficult things, not just in succeeding at them.
Our biggest fear never happened. Whatever we're afraid of in life, our biggest fear never happens. We go to our grave thinking, wow, this shit never happened. I was waiting for this, it never came, you know? It's just, it motivates us, our fear.
Problems are a feature of life, not a bug. There will never come a time when you have no problems. What? Did you think that you would just wake up one day and you're going to cease having problems? Like completing a video game and leveling up to a map where there's nothing there. That is never going to happen.
I had to look at my insecurities and in my fear and find drive in that. We're all looking for passion. Passion's all around you. You have a whole stack of it all around you. It's your insecurities, all that shit. All the energy and fuel you need is right in yourself. It's all there. You got a lot of stuff to do to overcome. And you know, that's where I found it. I found it right there in my own insecurities. I found drive in my own insecurities. And that's the most powerful thing in the world. When you can find drive in your own doubt, fear, insecurities, you become very unstoppable.
Okay, I want to talk about this thing called improvement. Right, I came across a quote that says, if you think you have room to grow, you do and you will. If you think you're as good as you can be, you're right, you won't get any better. Everybody has room to improve. So I want to say this. If I could put a term on it, the term will be humility. Because when you humble, you always feel as if you can become better at whatever it is that you're doing, right? No matter how great you are, no matter how good things have went, when you're humble, you always feel as if I can do this a little bit better, or you show up with the mentality that you're open to doing things in a better way. You don't never show up and speak in terms of, oh, we did that already, right? Already accomplished that, right? Day one mentality and energy. When I show up, I'm trying to improve every single day. That doesn't mean errors. That doesn't mean opposition. That doesn't mean perfection, right? That means every single day I'm showing up and I'm trying to pursue the quest of becoming better.
If you want to attract what you actually want, you've got to see yourself now already with it. And know it's only a period of time until you moving toward it and it moving toward you, and you become one with it.
But in the final analysis, it's also an additive issue. If I'm smart and hardworking and I can crank out for 70 hours a week and you do it for 30, it's like in 2 years, I'm so far ahead of you, you will never, ever catch up.
Don't listen to anyone. Everybody's full of shit. Nobody knows you or what you're capable of doing. And here's the reality. The hardest thing in life is figuring out who you are and what you want to do for the rest of your life. It's a big decision. I'm very blessed and lucky. I always knew who I was and exactly what I wanted to do. And once you figure that out, you wake up every day and you work toward it. That's what you do. It's impossible for you to fail if you know who you are, what you want to do, and you wake up every day and work toward it.
Don't be scared to bet on yourself.
you're going to be scared anyway, because it is scary. But at the same time, betting on yourself isn't always leaving. Betting on yourself is believing in you, knowing who you are, what you're worth, having an idea about it anyway, and willing to work towards that to validate that reality. That's betting on yourself. Right. Whatever decision emanates from that is based off of you looking at you and saying, I'm going for it. Yeah.
This guy stopped me at a stoplight. He was like, hey, Goggins, why am I not getting better? I'm a big-time goal setter. I run half Ironmans. I run half marathons. I go for that new promotion at work. Why am I not getting better? I asked him a question. Do you have fear of not reaching those goals? He said no. Okay, that's your problem. You're setting goals you know you can reach. And when you do that, that fear, that insecurity, that doubt, that's where you grow. He's not getting that. You must always set goals that you think you cannot achieve. And then there you get better.
If you know that there is something that you're meant to do, if you know that there's something that you're meant to change, you will have to let certain groups, friends, routines, places, activities, recreations that you do, you're going to have to let those go. And there is this, you know, the Rocky cutscene lasts for 90 seconds in the movie, but it can last for 5 years in your life. And you have no idea whether or not it's even going to work. And that's the bit that always got to me. The bit that always got to me was I didn't even know if there was going to be any glory on the other side. It's like ordering an Uber and never knowing if it's going to arrive or not. And you think, well, I'm just stood here doing the thing, but I don't know if it's going to come out on the other side. And I can promise you, anybody that has done anything, moved from any place they were to any place that they want to be, has gone through this lonely chapter.
And a year from now, it's going to happen like that. And who is your future self? 1 year from now, who is it? Just like everyone's out of here, go party Saturday night. They're not willing to sacrifice. I'm like the lone survivor in here. You know? Tonight will be over with too. Tomorrow I'll be stronger for it. Another day will go by. 365 of them happen so fast. Who are you going to be in a year from now? And in a year from now, does that future person hold regret or pride? We know that day's coming. We can't go backwards. We can only go forward. We know that day's coming. What we do right now will ensure it goes our way. We'll ensure that there is no regret. That's something you can't ever fix. It's a debate inside your head that never stops. We can learn from past regrets to ensure we don't re-regret them. To ensure maybe we don't go out tonight. Maybe we stay in here even no one else is here. And then push you a little bit further. There's still work to be done.
I got something to tell you. You can compete with the top minds in the world if you're willing to armor and callous your mind and outwork them motherfuckers and dig deep. When most people see four walls, I see a massive empty space that deserves all kind of creativity to make it look beautiful.
You don't get what you want. You get what you are. You've got to become what you want. You've got to realize that the minute you hold your mind in harmony with the good you want, then you've already got it. It's only a period of time till it manifests in physical form.
Never let success get to your head, and never let your failures get to your heart. It's all about keeping a balance and moving forward, and that's the mindset that I have to keep. It's tough, you know, when you lose sometimes, you know, it feels like it rips away a part of you, but for me, as I said, I'm never going to switch up and change on anyone. I'm still the same me, still ambitious, and I'm still going to walk with my head held high like a champion, because I'm a champion at heart.
Never ever take yourself out of something because you feel insecure or that you're doubting yourself. Never do that, bro. If something isn't going to work out, if it's not going to go your way, then allow it to be because something else. It cannot be because you didn't want to try, or you started doubting yourself, or you didn't do the things that you were supposed to. And if you're not doing that, that's why when you fail that you go into this little thing of like, oh, I'm so upset, I'm depressed. Yeah, because you know you could have did more, but you didn't.
I think
it's how you handle your sufferings. You know, when you're going through something really challenging, how do you show up within it? Do you choose to become a victim of complaining and misery and shitty, or do you find meaning in how you show up in the suffering?
The structure that you use to orient yourself in your life is dependent on your values. And you might say, well, if you don't value human life, let's say, above all, well, then you don't value yourself above all. You value something else above that. You're going to pay for that in one way or another. Now, you might say, well, that's a price that I think is worth paying, or I don't think that human beings should be put on the top. You know, that's your prerogative. But you will absolutely 100% pay in full for everything that you've done and for everything that you haven't done. I mean, how can it be otherwise?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what are you going to do? Reality isn't going to make itself manifest because of your whim? That's not going to happen. And you know, you can think about that religiously or not. There's no escaping from what is.
To get anything of value, you have to sacrifice. Do you know that the harder thing to do and the right thing to do are usually the same thing? Nothing that has meaning is easy. Easy doesn't enter into grown-up life.
And I think about personal growth like the velocity of a rocket that's taking off. So you've got people moving, and as you start to take off, you can begin to move a little bit more quickly. And as you start to pull away from people, there's a tension between the two of you, because sometimes your behavior, especially if it's positive and you're moving yourself in a more developed direction, can throw into harsh contrast the behavior of the people who maybe aren't doing that. And then you start to sort of become friends with someone that's above you. And then the worst, or one of the really difficult sensations, is if you then do that and you go past somebody who previously you were with, and there's this sort of sense, well, I'm on the journey too, but maybe I'm not moving in the same kind of way that you are. And I came up with this idea of personal growth guilt, like survivor guilt. You know, somebody comes back from war and they were sat in the back of the Humvee, and the piece of shrapnel that was supposed to kill them and killed all of their buddies hit the engine block, and they come back and they feel like they should still be back there.
So the big thing is, know that if you have big goals and big dreams, along the way failure is going to happen. So how fast do you get up from that? And you got to teach yourself that. But the biggest key to success in anything you do is you got to have an unlimited supply of drive and passion. And it may come from nothing.
Destruction comes from within. That means that you are the person that can stop the destruction.
A reminder that the life that I'm living today is a result of the work that I did 6 and 12 months ago. And so if you were to look at my calendar 6 and 12 months ago, then you might extrapolate out to what I'm doing today. But just like people want the immediate reward, they also see their current condition as a result of the behavior they're doing today, when it's not at all. And so that's why I think having, in some ways, a very vivid imagination of, like, this is where I think the benefit of, quote, visualization comes into play. I don't see it as much as a benefit for, like, oh, I have to imagine this thing to happen, but I think it's more powerful to think, I'm doing this thing today and I'm imagining it happening. So it's an approximation of the feedback loop that you want to have, and so it helps you substitute and get through the period where nothing's actually happening.
This is
look at your circle, right? And in your circle, if the conversation is all about what we hate, I can't stand that song. Oh, you see the new car came out? That shit is ass. I can't stand that car. Yo, man, I can't stand this city. Why the f we even in this city? What we eating? I hate that place. It's so easy. People don't even listen to it. It's so easy. It can be the smallest shit in the world. The smallest shit, but if it's always hate, you ping pong hate off of one another.
So there's a lot of pockets of weakness nowadays. And we try to fill those pockets with lies. I did it for many years. So, now I go to the gym and this trainer calls me over to talk to this group of people he's training. He says, hey man, what are you doing out here? So I tell him. He says, what kind of workouts are you doing? I said, well, one workout I'm doing is I'm climbing up this mountain, 3,000 feet in 3 miles. Because I do that every day. So the next day I'm out looking for him. Didn't see him. A couple days later, looking for him. Didn't see him. So here I am on the mountain again, climbing it. and there's a gondola that takes you up, takes you down. I'm going up it. I see a gondola. I'm about 5 minutes from the top. I look up at the gondola. I see him, face pressed up against the window, looking at me. Our eyes meet. It's called the look. When you take a motherfucking soul, don't talk about it. Be about it. Practice what you preach.
You know, the person who loves walking walks further than the person who loves the destination. So many people want to project their idea of what they think your life should be like onto you.
And a lot of times, someone would go through traumatic experience and they'd have bad feelings about it. They'd have regrets about it. They'd have things that they wish they would have done differently. And one of the main themes I was telling people during this tour was, that's totally normal and it's okay. It's okay to think, oh, I lost some friends and sometimes I feel sad about it. Well, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Like that's normal, that's fine. In fact, if you weren't sad about it, there may be something wrong. Because I think that people have been told for a while that, oh, if you're feeling sad, there's something wrong with you. When I actually don't think there's anything wrong with when you feel sad. You feel sad? Yeah, you lost friends. You're gonna feel sad. Oh, you were in combat. You had to do some horrible things. You did some things that you regret. There's nothing wrong with that. People make mistakes. Things don't turn out the way that they wanted them to. We made decisions and there was a bad result at the end of that decision. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm a terrible person, no, it's like you made a mistake and that's okay and you got to move on.
Be a dangerous man. Now, being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. All right? And it's not about going out and lifting weights and getting a bunch of tattoos and wearing leather jackets and walking around with your chest and shoulders up, hulking around saying, I'm dangerous. That's very rarely is that a dangerous man. Often the most dangerous man in the room is the quietest man in the room.
I have to think, what things are they deprived of? Because I have a much stronger predictive power than trying to say, how do I motivate this person? Look at what they lack.
Body, free your mind, get up early and go. Get after it and you will become the person you want to be. And you become that person through one small decision at a time.
As a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
If you think it, that's the reality of your life. So if you think you're a failure, if you think you're a loser, if you think you're designed to live in a cubicle, then that will be the reality of your life. But if you realize that you can be whatever you want to be, and nothing's holding you back, and nothing's stopping you except you, then once you get out of your own way, the game begins.
In order to achieve strong character, you have to go through hard things. And so it's kind of interesting that like all of us want to have really good character, except none of us want to go through hard things. And so it's like you can't have one without the other. And so if I had to pick, I'd rather have the character and the scars to show it rather than none of the character and had a soft life.
What are you waiting for? In all honesty, what are you freaking waiting for? You know, there's not just going to be a day where for no reason you're going to just wake up and say, I'm going to go to the gym every day in perpetuity. I'm just gonna pick up my routine, do my cardio, start tracking my macros, boom, I'm gonna do it. Now, it doesn't really happen.
Whatever negativity is consuming your thoughts probably won't matter in 3 months' time. But all of that time that you spent worrying will have still passed. So you are sacrificing your joy and presence in the moment for a problem which you won't even be able to recall in the future.
There's times where you're going to have to do it alone. There's not going to be any team support. There's not going to be any family support. There's not going to be any friend support. There's going to be times where you've got to go and do it yourself and you got to do it alone. And those are the times that make a difference. Those are the times that count. Those are the times where you have to dig deep yourself to get the job done. And if you can make that happen, you will win.
Well, to use what's given to you, and we are unfortunately given way more negative than we are positive. So how are you going to use it? Are you going to use it by letting it, getting shy and sitting in the basement and, saying, man, I'm not ready to play this game? Or are you going to use it like, hey, you,
I deserve this. I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove you wrong. And that's the most powerful thing that you can have, your own belief in yourself, proving yourself right, proving that you do have what it takes, and nobody can take that from you once you've built that.
Manny Pacquiao, you're not on my level. Manny Pacquiao, you will never be on my level. Period. Simple and plain.
So you didn't feel like getting up and getting after it this morning?
Neither did I! But I'm here. Where you at?
Life isn't fair at all. At all. So what are you gonna do about it? I knew that no one was coming back to help me. No one was gonna miracle me to be somebody special. Everybody that called me, my dad, my mom, all my situations were on me now. And solely on me.
If you tell yourself the truth, and the truth is, I'm not happy with where I'm at. That's the truth. The truth is, I can do more. The truth is, I can be in better shape. The truth is, I can work harder than I'm working right now. The truth is, I can do more for my family. The truth is, I can do much better than I'm doing right now. And if that's the real truth, if that's what you believe, if you believe that to be the truth, you won't have to find more discipline. Discipline will find you. It will wake you up in the morning.
Imagine if I could put this kind of focus into something in real life and just make that seem a little bit like a video game. Imagine the results I could get then.
It was never about running. Why do you think I run? It's the worst thing. I hate doing it more than anything. Hence the willpower. Think about it. Every day I wake up, I don't just run a mile, 2 miles. It's the one thing I hate the most to do, and I do it like I love it.
You know, when you're kind of addicted to it, you can play at any time, right? It doesn't really matter if you're hungry or if you're somewhere else away from home. When you're hooked on a video game, you can play at any time, any place. And again, so I was just like, imagine if I could feel like that, but in real life, turn life into a video game.
You once wanted the life you have. And if you don't like the life you have, you probably won't like the one you want, but don't have either.
You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. It's in your mind right now. But you don't feel like doing it. You don't feel like getting up. You don't feel like doing the work. You don't feel like working hard. And if you don't feel like working hard, if you don't feel like getting up, then you better feel like losing. You better feel like getting weaker. Because that's what's going to happen if you don't do what you're supposed to do. So get up and go get it done.
The pathway to success is through the door of your fear. You find your fear, you beat it down, otherwise it'll beat you down. Life should always be about, hunting your fears, man. That's the path to success. It doesn't mean that's the path you're going to go on for success. By facing your fears, the transfer of energy comes back into higher levels of confidence of who you are.
I have never met anybody who became incredibly successful in any area of their life until they had suffered and sweated and sacrificed and kept their focus and fought through tears and trials and tests. And if you have a dream and you commit to it, it will come to pass.
You know what's one of the most f***ed up things that I've learned over time is that almost all truly exceptional and mentally strong people have been through hell. It's very few that put themselves through hell when life is great. There's a thing that happened, and it happened out of hell. And I don't think it ever happens without that. It's like you had to go through that in order to empower all these other people.
You have to condition yourself to take action. You have to program yourself to take action. There's a moment where you can either take action or you can let it pass. And if you don't take action, that moment grows and it fills itself with all kinds of instability and concern and wandering and more hesitation, and it doesn't work. You fall apart. If your default mode is to pause, is to hesitate, is to wait, you're gonna miss out, and you're gonna miss out a lot. And in the end, if you hesitate, you're gonna lose.
When we were young, we're told we can be anything. Then we realize it's a lie. And then we realize we're telling ourselves it's a lie because we actually just realize how much work it's going to take. And we'd rather believe it's a lie than we're not willing to work hard enough to achieve these things. And then it's kind of like this back and forth of like, can I? Or is it just too hard? Or am I just too weak? I'm just going to drop out of school and I'm going to travel and I'm going to try and get sponsors and I'm going to try and win shows and I'm going to do all this and I'm going to take every risk I can. And I didn't even think about it, you know. When you're young, luckily you're at the greatest opportunity in your life to take risk and to fail.
I think people focus too much on the past and focus too much on regret. We get too caught up in the past and what everyone's saying and what everyone's tweeting, and sometimes you just have to be fearless enough to break the simulation.
But one of the main reasons that people don't get what they want is because they don't actually figure out what it is. And the probability that you're going to get what would be good for you, let's say, which would even be better than what you want, right? Because, you know, you might be wrong about what you want easily, but maybe you could get what would really be good for you. Well, why don't you? Well, because you don't try. You don't think, okay, here's what I would like if I could have it. And I don't mean in a way that you manipulate the world to force it to deliver you goods for status or something like that. That isn't what I mean. I mean something like, imagine that you were taking care of yourself like you were someone you actually cared for. And then you thought, okay, I'm caring for this person. I would like things to go as well for them as possible. What would their life have to be like in order for that to be the case? Well, people don't do that. They don't sit down and think, all right, you know, let's figure it out. You've got a life. It's hard, obviously. It's like 3 years from now, you can have what you need.
In the short term, your success depends on your intensity. In the long term, your success depends on your consistency. Do not sacrifice the latter for the former.
Procrastination is a killer. It's a killer. It kills plans. It kills goals. It kills ideas. It kills dreams. Procrastination is a killer. And what you have to do is fight against procrastination. You have to do that with violence of action. And yes, that's a military term. Violence of action. Go on the attack. You start feeling that procrastination set in, attack it with violence of action. And start doing what you're supposed to do. No hesitation. Go.
The little details in life add up to be the moments, the inches, the seconds we need to be successful. When you give it your all and you're willing to give up that, put all your will, all your effort, and look past the temporary pain of it to what that pain will dry and solidify into later, as this being the down payment for the future investment to come, willing to sacrifice this now for the belief of what tomorrow can be. You know, you must hope and believe in yourself if you ever want to see what that hope can turn into, what that belief can turn into. By doing this every day, repetitively, those are the measures that lead to the big moments of success that everyone sees in life. No one sees the struggle in here. No one sees the hardship, the early mornings you get up. No one sees any of that. They just see if your hands raised or not. And if it is, oh, what a great guy. Oh, I wish I could be that guy. I wish I could be that guy. But they're not clapping, wishing they could be you at 5 in the morning when you get out of bed, when it's pissing rain outside, to come and train for that hand to be raised. They don't want to be that guy. They just want the glory. And that's the differential of a champion. You know, in adversity, guys, is where you find character. It's not about the opportunities given to you. It's about the opportunities you create.
You have that potential. It's just you're not putting the effort into it. You are lazy. You want to fit into the group. You want to conform because it's easy. But your oddness, what makes you weird, what makes you different, that little strange quirk in how you want to dress yourself, that little strange quirk in your musical tastes, that little quirk in the food that you like to eat, that is who you are. Those are signs from deep within, from your core, or from your soul. This is who you are. And if you lose that, not only are you not going to be successful in life, you will also lose yourself, and you will be you'll be unhappy, you'll be alienated from who you are. And you can get away with that when you're young because you're happy, you look good, you've got energy, things are going right. You get into your 30s and you're like everybody else, and you don't know who you are and you don't know what you like anymore, and you're just following the trends. You start to get depressed.
Get the last rep. You will get tougher. Every time you push through, you build strength. Not just physical strength, mental strength, tenacity, will. You're not just born with will. You create it, you develop it through effort. And every time you put forth effort, your will, your discipline becomes stronger. And every time you quit, your will and your discipline gets weaker. Do not allow that. You cannot allow that. Every rep counts, not just in the weight room, but in life. Every rep counts.
The idea that many people want to be exceptional, but they're afraid of being an exception, I think is such a, it's wanting an outcome without the requirement that the outcome has.
That most people, the reason that they lack success in their life, especially from a financial aspect, is that they lack the courage to make the decisions that need to be made to put them in the position that they want to be in. And I never really thought about it until I watched everybody DM me and email me and text me and say, I'm so proud of you for speaking up, and then watch them not do shit. And then when I took inventory of who those people are, all of them are struggling. So I started correlating it together. Whoa, they don't have courage and they suffer in life. And so I think the courage to make the decisions that you already know need to be made, that your anxiety's telling you need to be made, is one of the biggest things that has to happen for you to be successful. And most people are just not courageous enough to make the decisions that they know that need to be made. And because of that, they don't get anything. They're pissed off at the world. They think the world's screwing them over, when in reality, it's their inaction and their lack of courage that's screwing them over.
Sadness is a perceived lack of options. It's why it feels like hopelessness, because you don't know what to do. You don't know what options are available. You see none, which is why it feels like there's no way out. Anxiety is many options but no priorities, which is why you feel scattered but you can't decide. They feel very different, but fundamentally, those are the difference in the conditions that make people feel like they're anxious or they feel like they're sad. And so when we're working through what you were just talking about with, okay, I want to be gym guy and I also want to be work guy, we have many options but a lack of priorities. And so we have anxiety over the fact that we're not making progress on any of them because we have not been able to say this comes first. And so if we think about what priority means, it means prior, it comes before everything else. And what I think a lot of people have a hard time doing is being okay with saying no and saying, okay, I will allow myself to just not get fatter rather than get fitter during this period. And what's interesting about most skills is that the amount of effort that it takes to maintain a skill versus the amount of effort it takes to grow a skill is like 1/10 the amount of effort.
I can tell you the recipe for failure. I can tell you how it's hard to get off the couch and take that one step towards greatness. I can tell you how hard that is. I can also tell you how hard it is, 10 times harder, looking back on your life as time expires, knowing you could have been great when you did get off the couch, but it's too much time, you can't do anything about it. I can tell you how the worst failure in life isn't the person that fell down, it's the person that never got out to try. There's a million examples on how failure is made. Success is written every single day. And it starts here in the gym and small endeavors. Planning it out, having everything in line to ensure success. Thinking before acting. Right now when it's hurting, do we go on or not? Do we give much and give it that one? Will we lighten up the pain saying it looked too much? Do we welcome it? Or do we run from it? These little tests, the little tiny details of life, makes that dream a possibility. It's right here. You're being tested every single day in the gym to weather those storms out there. So you're going through adversity at your job, or in your relationship, or any other endeavor in life, that you've already seen it once. You've seen what pushing through that is, facing it, meeting it head on, that fear, that pain, whatever else, how you can beat it back. You've done it here, day in, day out. So out there, when it does arise, you do it again. And you don't fall down. If you fall down, you get back up. You keep getting back up.
Don't follow what most people do because you don't want the results that most people get. The average person is obese, likely to be divorced, and has less than 1K in the bank. It feels safe to do what everyone else is doing, but it's actually a terrible decision.
What I do right now, I take one step forward. I turn around in exhaustion. Salute my former self that was right there. Proud of that motherfucker. Yeah, I'm tired. That motherfucker gave it his all to ensure that right now, I got the most out of it. That motherfucker, me, the same.
It's rarely the information or the intensity that makes things hard. It's the sticking with it that makes it hard. And so the desire that we have to quit is simply breaking the consistency. And so that's why consistency has always been the hardest thing for most people to achieve. But the intensity of what you have to do to be successful is much lower than most people expect. And so oftentimes they suffer significantly more in a short period of time than is required to be successful over a much longer period of time with a much lower intensity.
Fear is my friend. I love fear. Fear allows me to reach my highest potential. The fear of failing is an illusion. Fear is an illusion, but we have to have desire. We have to have something that pushes us. Fear pushes us. We don't understand that living prepares us for death. Our life, it prepares us for death. You know, even if we die young, it prepares us. So just the fact that we're losing guys like Kobe losing, we just losing people in our family. There's people dying. It's around us all every day, so we prepare for it. We understand that, but we avoid it. Whatever we do in the sports, life, and when you don't have that feeling no more, it's over.
I'm gonna run from here to the end of the block and back as fast as I can. You hit the end of the block and you commit to it. Once you go into it and you start feeling the pain of it, watch what happens to you. Watch how fast, whatever that goal you're going for, how it loses value or it vanishes. Because the pain is too much for you. Because you're in the wrong frame of mind. Mentally, you must be there before you physically even start. When you go there, you've already finished the line, the race at that time. You're not thinking of the pain. You're looking at the clock, reading it. It's a mindset, guys. Before it's ever somebody. The physical body is just the messenger of the true will of what this is saying. This doesn't say it. This can't do it, motherfucker.
It's so simple and so hard, which a lot of success habits are, which is like if you do the same thing for a very long period of time. Success comes down to doing the obvious thing for an extraordinary period of time without convincing yourself you're smarter than you are.
Fortune favors the strength, man. Favors the strong. It doesn't favor the weak. If you want good fortune in life, it doesn't come your way, man. You have to create it, man. You have to create your opportunities in life. They'll come in disguise. Well, if you're working hard and your pulse of life is always beating, that disguise is always seen. Most people that are feeling down and that are the losers of society, they're always looking for excuses. Where the winners are looking for solutions. Those opportunities come in disguises where if you're in it to win it and that's your mentality, you see right through that disguise and you jump at it. Where some people are like, what are you doing, man? It makes no sense what you're doing. They don't understand it because they're not in it to win it. They're mentally fucking, I've already lost it. They've given up before they even started because mentally they don't believe in themselves. So it's like when the winds of life don't hit your sail, you grab the fucking oars of life and you start pushing your body, your boat, your vessel into the harbor of a known point that you want to be. No one's gonna get you there. You gotta get yourself there, guys.
We have learned to just bite and know that our teeth will get stronger and we will learn how to chomp down along the way.
You will get 100x, 1000x your returns, placing your efforts to try and change those things on you as opposed to on the world. I think basically the best way to move through the world is to see your entire surroundings as immutable and you as mutable. You're the only mutable thing in the entire world. You're the only thing that can change. Everybody else, people, opinions, places, economy, politicians, policies, all of that, none of that's going to change. You can change. That's it.
What you are doing right now impacts where you are going to be. So don't wait, don't put it off, do it now, don't stop moving.
When we talk about mindset and beliefs, we talk about limiting beliefs.
as sort of being the ceiling of your potential. How you think about yourself, whether positively or negatively, that's probably what your potential is. How do you stretch your beliefs and make sure you are continually pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone and your capabilities?
I just dream. I have dreams, and dreams is they should be pure. And I think a lot of times, when we're born into this world, we actually wind up going backwards. And it seems like the more we mature, the more responsible our dreams become, and the more governors we put on ourselves and our ability to dream and to reimagine. And it's always a fight for us parents and for you guys to make sure that your dreams always stay pure. And so it's not a matter of pushing beyond your limitations or expectations. It's really a matter of protecting your dreams, protecting your imagination. That's really the key. And when you do that, then the world just seems limitless.
If you ask me if I'm stressed half the time, my answer is no. Are you stressed? No, I'm fine. I feel great. And then if you look at me, you're like, do you feel calm? Do you feel at ease? Do you feel relaxed? I'd be like, no. So where am I feeling? And for some reason, stress to me is like numb, but it's stress, so I don't really feel it. And it's typically from not allowing myself to lean into the shitty times, the shitty thoughts, the shitty days, and being able to sit with them and be with them, accept what they are, and process them properly, rather than just numbing them.
Lean into discomfort as if you invited it through the door. It feels like you are in control of the frame.
You don't give a shit what people say. I never did, I never do. I told you before if I was the shit, and I'm telling you right now I'm the shit. What people say does not matter to me, because whatever you do in life, good or bad, there's always going to be somebody.
There are so many people working so hard and achieving so little. And that's the lack of correlation between inputs and outcomes. Thoughts aren't true. Feelings don't require actions. Things aren't good or bad, they just are. Our greatest enemy is ignorance. To change your life, change your surroundings. Our actions, not our pasts, define who we are.
I failed, I go back to scratch. I use some positive motivation. I have like one day where I'm like fucking defeated. But I started realizing this is part of the process. This is part of the journey. I had to realize this is part of my process versus just saying, like I used to, I'm just not good enough. If I'm not good enough, we always say that shit. I'm just not good enough, and then we try something else. I'm gonna fucking make myself good enough. And that became my mentality.
So there was no way I could get the money back, and he had filed bankruptcy. So there was no course of action for a lawsuit. A lot of people would probably go through that mental situation and think, and I went through this, I just wasted the last 5 years. And so here I am, and I'm like, I have nothing to show for the last 5 years of work. But then in the next 12 months, I made more money than I'd ever made in my entire life up to that point. The thing that was the outcome of those 5 years was me and the skills and the experiences that I possessed through going through it. But whatever the next mountain that you're trying to climb is, of course it's gonna be higher, but it's gonna require you to go through the smaller mountains to get to that point. So, because the more able you are, the more able you realize you can become. And you will get way bigger outcomes from the things that you had, like the path that led you here, than you think you can. That's why since that moment where I lost everything, and then I was able to make more in the next 12 months, I realized that no work is wasted, because I am the output of the work, not the outcome. And that was one of the biggest frame shifts for me in never thinking that work is wasted, because the more I work, the bigger my work ethic, the more my work capacity increases.
Last but not least, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for just being me at all times. Snoop Dogg, you a bad.
A lot of people in this world that they have dreams and it remains dreams. They're always going to be fantasizing about it. What if? One day I can do this. I wonder if I could do this. You should never have those thoughts. It should never be one day or I'm wondering or what if. It should never be that. It should be, I can envision myself doing this. Let's try and set it up to make it happen. Be an executor. Be assertive. How are you going to have a plan? How are you going to have aspiration? You're not going to be assertive towards it. You're going to be passive.
Where you are right now is based on what you did. So make sure that right now you're doing the right things.